welcome to Finding Your Frequency, the show where we find people where they're at, where they've been, where they're going, and share it with you. And we'll do it with Pam Almand from The Captain's Voice. She happens to be a neighbor of mine from Atlantic Beach, so I know your story, an award-winning voice actor, but a former airline pilot. Listen, how we get from college with an art degree to airline pilot, ferrying planes across the Atlantic, into voice acting, how'd you get to where you are today?
Well, it was a long journey and circuitous and absolutely nothing that I had planned when I was a kid.
So you didn't have a hardline GPS?
No. I didn't have any direction. Graduated with the art degree because I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I took a flying lesson just for a hobby.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. It's a totally addiction.
Yeah.
As your son will find out.
Absolutely.
If he's flying.
I've got a son who's studying.
Oh, yeah. But I went from there, and there weren't women airline pilots at the time, but I knew eventually there would be.
Right.
So I started flying, got my hours by ferrying single-engine airplanes across the Atlantic.
In a day where there wasn't GPS.
Right. You just hold a heading and hope you find land
Over open water.
eventually. Over open water.
I bet your parents love that.
Oh, they didn't know it till
Yeah.
I actually took the first one and landed and
Right.
told them where I was.
In Scotland.
But it was totally unexpected. And I got on with an airline that I wanted to fly international.
Yeah.
So I got on with Northwest Airlines, which at the time had the most jumbo aircraft and international aircraft. So I flew international my whole career. And the pinnacle was making 747 captain.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was kind of the big iron.
Yeah, it really is. And if you don't see many 747s anymore, they're all cargo planes.
They have retired them, unfortunately. I hate that because it is the grande dame of aviation.
Was it the most fun to fly that big of an airplane?
Oh, it was. It was.
Just to get them off the ground.
Oh, yeah. We used to laugh. And it was the newer ones, the 747-400, would go up to 1 million pounds takeoff weight. Amazing to me that they could fly.
And that's from a pilot. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazed that they could fly.
The feel was kind of like flying a gymnasium half filled with water.
Right.
You know, you just, but it was a blast.
So then you became a voice actor.
Yeah.
Were you still flying when you decided to do the voice work? How did you get into that?
Not full time. I was asked to do a Tylenol commercial, the woman pilot thing. You know, I get a headache in the cockpit. I can't. All I have to do is take Tylenol, and it was very lucrative. And after that, I did a couple of commercials for Northwest Airlines, regional ones. One with Lloyd Carr and Nick Saban. It was such a blast.
That's amazing.
I got to meet both of them.
Right.
Oh, they were great.
When they were at Michigan and Michigan State.
Exactly.
Because it was Northwest Airlines headquartered in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. So that was fun. And I had to retire early because I've had multiple joint replacements. And I would go back to flying and then have to have another one replaced and then come back. Nothing to do with flying, just
Right.
bad joints. But I needed something to take up the slack. And the union called, and the pilots union, and asked me to narrate a video for them. And I thought, okay, maybe God's telling me something. And I took a course and loved it. So knocked out walls in the house, built a studio, and the rest is history.
And you built a business. Tell us some of the companies that you work with.
Well, I work locally.
Yeah.
I do e-learning narration for Triad Financial Services and for Land South.
Okay.
And I've done some commercials for Brumo's Porsche when it was there, and I've done some 1010XL stuff for Jack O'Brien. And
I'm sure people are hearing this and going, I know that voice. I'm sure you get that from people.
Oh, I do.
How do I know your voice?
My next door neighbor called me one morning. She said, I heard you last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, what? And it was for Cami Shaper. It was one of those infomercials that comes on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And she recognized my voice. It was me.
It pays well, so you take it.
Yeah.
And then you've worked your way into audiobooks, which I know is a very difficult
that.
field to get into. Tell me how you got into it, and what did you win an award for?
Well, I've been blessed to win several awards. The latest one was for a nonfiction title, and it was called, God, I can't even think of the name of it now. I'm blanking, Brian.
Part of it, right?
Yeah, right.
I'll ask you again.
But it was at the Voice Arts Awards, and the thing that was most important to me was what I lost for. I lost to Meryl Streep for children's books.
Okay. But you had to feel pretty good about losing to an Emmy and Oscar award winner.
And she had just been nominated for a Grammy for the same title. So I thought, all right, she can have it. Yeah.
So where are you going with this? I mean, is this something that you're going to become a more famous voice actor? Are you going to get into Audible and all of those ways too?
Well, I'm in Audible. I've worked for most of the major publishers and all, and I do love it. But I'm going to, this is how, again, things snake around and you have no idea. I have felt just a calling, an urge, whatever, to start a preschool. A faith-based kids preschool in the Arlington area.
I should be surprised, but I'm not.
I know, I have no background in it, but it just, I feel like it's necessary. I feel like kids need to grow up and start their lives knowing, A, that they're loved all the time, that God's always on their side. And starting out that way, they can do anything.
You bet.
They can become airline pilots. They can be voiceover actors and actresses, and the sky is the limit. To be, a little punish there.
It worked perfectly. What's the name of the school? Have you started?
The Learning Light.
The Learning Light
School.
And when does that open?
And it was supposed to be this past fall, but we are still looking for a location. We're a 501c3. We have, because my feeling is I've been blessed. I've had 2 careers that are lucrative, but I want to pour any profits back into the school. I want it to be the best school. And
the Captain's Voice, the Learning Light, Audible, the Captain's Voice, Pamela Almand. I hear your voice and say, I need to call Pam. I need to call Pam. And when we start finding your frequency, you're one of the first people that I reached out to.
Oh,
thank you for saying yes.
Thank you.
And will you come back and tell us more about the school once you've got a location and ready to open it?
I would love to.
Fantastic.
Very much so.
Thank you for helping us find our frequency today. And
Thank
we'll see you next time right here on Finding Your Frequency.